Breaking news, Astros fans. The Astros have made an offer to Alex Bregman, and no, it hasn't changed. That's the breaking news. We'll talk about Christian Walker. We'll talk about what this means for Valdez and Tucker. We'll talk about other news around the league and maybe a little bit Juan Soto sweepstakes. Let's get going right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, and then Back to the Bullpen on X, on iHeartRadio, on, where can you find us? Instagram and on YouTube. You know, always positive. My head's spinning like crazy right now. Always Stros.
And Brett, you can no longer find me in organic chemistry because I passed the final exam. I got a 76 on it, 77 for the class. And so that was the hardest C I've ever gotten. So guys, thank you for making us part of your daily routine, making us your part of your becoming everydayers. Whether you listen to us on YouTube, go ahead and make us part of your routine, whether it's going to school, going to work, going wherever you commute. Just make us part of your routine. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube and go ahead and make us a part of your routine. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the holiday season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you can get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started today. So, Brett, I know that we're probably Alex Bregman out, and we want to get some news later than sooner than later. But at the same time, what this is this is part of the negotiation process. We heard about, I want to say it's about a week and a half ago, about the whole the 6-year, $156 million deal from Bob Nightingale. But now people are running with Brian McTaggart like he's got a little bit more authority. I think it's because of sources told MLB.com. So versus just something Bob Nightingale heard, and I think it's a little bit more of a confirmed report now. But the fact that this has not actually come out and Bregman is not a Houston Astro right now means that there is something wrong. Whether it's the fact that the Astros maybe are not as intriguing to Bregman anymore because maybe the window is going to come to a close pretty soon. Maybe, as Brian McTaggart pointed out, you're going to mention in a second, maybe he's seeking a lot more money.
Yeah, it is believed that he's seeking closer to $200 million. Okay. And we know if he gets to that threshold, that will probably knock the Astros out. Now, I put out to Astros fans because now Bleacher Report is saying, per Brian McTaggart, I know even Michael Schwab is saying like he's even confirmed the numbers. So any guys from beat writers to local guys to people around the country that are involved with Major League Baseball are saying this. Now, my question is this, Eric, if the Astros, let's say Bregman gets an offer of, let's say 165, okay, for 6 years. The Astros, to me, could go for 175. That would be $29.1 million a year. They could go 180, $30 million, 190. I think their max might be 180, but 190 would be 31.6. If you go 198, that's 33. And if you go 201, that's 33.5 million. Okay. But here's the thing. If you're going to sign Alex Bregman to that kind of deal, now, money, a lot of money, and Crane keeps talking about it. We'll have a lot more money, a lot more room after 25 and 26. We have a lot of stuff coming off the books. And he did say in this article, it is a business and we're trying to make money. So whether y'all like that or not, Astros fans, He's not trying to spend all his money. He's trying to keep money flowing through the system. If they let's just say they go 185, okay, 185, right. Like 30 and a half, okay? They go 185. If they sign Alex Bregman 185, I think they have to then decide who they're going to keep out of Tucker and Valdez. And then the other guy that you're not going to keep, they need to go ahead and trade. And we'll talk about that stuff later. But the negotiation process, this is what I think is going to happen, Eric. And I want to get your comments on this. I think the Astros are confident in what they have to offer. And I think they are willing to go a little bit higher, but they're waiting to see what Bregman's market is. And Bregman's market may not open up until after Juan Soto is signed. So do you think, let's just say a club offers him, let's just say 170, okay? Do you think Crane goes 175? Because that's only 29.1 versus 26. Do you think he'd be willing to do that?
Well, like you said, this is a negotiation tactic. We heard about before Brian McCann came to the Astros had no chance of trading for him. And then the next day, or maybe even hours later, then the trade came through. So this is part of the negotiation tactic. We know what the Astros offer is. This would be the richest deal the Astros have ever given. The previous year was to Jose Altuve. It was a 5-year deal for $151 million. So at least the Astros are going a little bit past that to go to a 6-year deal. So they are meeting him a little bit higher. It's a little bit lower AAV than what Altuve got. But at the same time, they're giving him the length that I think Alex Bregman might have want. Maybe there's some stipulations in there, or maybe Scott Boras can add some stipulations in there because of, like I keep on bringing up, the Astros may be at a crossroads right now. They may be at a point where they may not be contenders for too much longer because you don't know how good this team is going to be. We saw even some weakness this past year. So the Astros are probably, you don't start with your best offer unless you're somebody like the Mets or you're somebody like the Yankees and you're just like, hey, we're going to offer you a suite. We'll offer you your own private jets. We'll go ahead and give your whole family season tickets, whatever it takes. We want you to come here. And
we'll give all the other players babies tattoos of your face or something like ridiculous stuff, right? And we're talking the moon, pie in the sky stuff, really.
Right. And the problem with where Bregman is right now is there's teams that want him, like you said, but where are they going to play him? Most of the teams that have been rumored to be out to get him, they already have a third baseman. Is he willing to move to second base? Sure. You hear about the Phillies talking about trading for him or signing him, and also trading Alec Boehm to actually be able to sign him. And so we'll go and circle back to this because I heard about a rumored what the Phillies are actually asking the Mariners for that. And it's crazy. Like I would not even do that in fantasy baseball. That's how bad a trade it was.
So right. So Eric, with Alex Bregman, now right here, I put this up here. Jay Roberts asked, do you think, Brett? He's asking me if I think that Crane would ever pay deferred money. I don't think he would. I think Crane is, see, these West Coast and East Coast guys, these LA, New York guys, y'all got to understand their baseball market is way bigger than ours. Their baseball market is massive. Houston's market, buying market, like your buying power, okay? What is your ROI? What is your return on investment? On signing a Shohei Ohtani or Juan Soto, return on investment is like money. It's like hand over fist, just money, money, money. Signing Bregman, Bregman's supposed to be here, right? But this is what I think, Eric. I think it's a soft market for Bregman. Like you mentioned accurately, there's not a ton of teams that really have the third base need. Now, if that's the case, the Astros probably analyzed what the needs were and who they were going after across the league. And so they didn't offer Bregman too much, because what they probably want to be able to do if they do want to keep Bregman is be able to up the offer a little bit more to give them some breathing room. So I just think it's a softer market. I think his market is a little bit more inflated, But after Burns, after Soto, he is the third most sought after free agent this year.
Hey, maybe the Sacramento, Las Vegas A's, they made a surprise signing today.
Yeah.
Maybe they can go after him. But guys, we'll go and continue this conversation next on the Locked On Astros podcast. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. It is the NFL season. And look, things are going crazy in the NFL. The Texans are winning, but they're doing it in ugly fashion. They just had a guy that got hit with a 3-game suspension. I mean, what is going on in Texans land? Are they going to even vie for the Super Bowl? Well, look, if you go to FanDuel.com today, they have everything you need right there on the app. You don't have to go to 8 different sites. And if you bet $5 as your new customer and you win that bet, you get $150 in bonus bets. That's right. If you have a hunch in the middle of the game, check out the latest stats, look play by play, so much more on the same page where you place your bets. So visit FanDuel.com today. Again, get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go and subscribe to us. Make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out. And Brett, Alex Bregman didn't sign Brett Chancey to be his manager. Sorry, not manager, his agent. He went out and got Scott Boras. The reason why he went out and got Scott Boras was because he wanted to get the best opportunity to make the money. He already did the team-friendly offer with the Astros, and he's had do what?
I would be cheaper. I wouldn't take as much commission. I would take 10%. I wouldn't take 20 or 30.
Yes, but no offense, Brett, and this goes for me too. The GMs would probably eat us alive just because they've got negotiation skills and they know how to go ahead and get the deal done. And so that's what Scott Boras is doing here. And he is saying, well, there may not be as big a market for Bregman as we thought. So what we do is we leak a couple reports. This is what the Astros are offering. And Bregman wants to get $200 million. So other teams are willing to meet that. So Astros, if you up your offer, maybe
the thing. Well, and I won't believe that other teams have offered that until I see that they've offered that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just don't know who's out there that would, because once I'm serious. Once the Juan Soto ball drops, I mean, it's like New Year. It's like the New York City, 10, watching the ball drop. That's what Juan Soto signing is going to do, because then the floodgates are going to open up. And he could probably make a decision. They're saying as early as Sunday between 5 and 7 p.m., Eric. And it has gone from going to Boston to New York Mets.
Pacific time.
Well, right, exactly. But the whole thing is this, Eric. Once that ball drops, if let's say the Yankees lose out, if the Yankees don't get Juan Soto, does that mean the Yankees back up the Brinks truck for it and Alex Bregman? Because they could use Alex Bregman. Someone made a sickening picture today. I almost threw up in my mouth of Alex Bregman in a Yankees uniform. I almost wrecked looking at this picture. I got in my truck. I pulled up something. I made a phone call real quick, and then I had it sitting over next to me on console, and I was like, "Wait, why is Alex in a New York uniform?" It's like I almost threw up. It was the most horrible thing. But here's the deal. Not only are the Astros looking at signing Bregman and have confidence in that they're going to do that, but Brian McTaggart did confirm, Eric, that they're also looking at Christian Walker. And if they get Alex Bregman and Christian Walker, then you're definitely going to have to offload Framber Valdez or Kyle Tucker. I'm just saying they have interest, and there is known interest in Christian Walker.
I think it's a or. I don't think it's and. I think if you're talking about geometry, the probability is going to be more of and or
you're
versus and.
if they don't go Bregman, they'll go Christian Walker.
Yeah.
And then maybe Christian Walker or Jorge Polanco at third.
Okay, I think you're looking too big here, dude. I think that one splash.
No, Polanco's not a splash, dude. Polanco's barely a pebble in the pond.
Well, I know, but he's gonna want money.
Bregman is a boulder. Polanco is his little pebble in the pond, and the ripples from the pebble. I'm telling you, dude, he is like the drop off is significant. Okay, yeah. They've got to. Polanco will get Brown fired. That's a good comment, actually, Greg. No, I'm just saying if they're looking to fill the hole at third, okay. I mean, and the problem with the Nolan Arenado thing is you could trade for him, but who do you trade? They want prospects. Now, the Rays are willing to trade Yandy Diaz, but they want prospects, okay? And one of the things we haven't really talked about, there's a lot of relief pitchers, AJ Minter, Yarborough, Robertson. There's a lot of really Taylor Scott. I mean, that dude's gonna, he's not a free agent, though. I'm talking about free agent relief.
Oh, okay, free agents.
Yeah, okay, free agents. So we really, I mean, we got holes to fill in the relief pitching. You know, look right here. Polanco is trash. Hey, I'm just saying, we know that they've shown interest in him, and if they're looking at filling that spot with the veteran and not with a Whitcomb or a DeCenzo, then it's probably going to be someone like that. Or, hey, Josh Rojas. Would y'all be mad with Josh Rojas returning to the Astros? You know, I mean, it couldn't get any worse if it's Jorge Polanco.
Oscar Hernandez. Let's go back and bring back.
I think he's actually in negotiations with the Dodgers, actually. I believe the Dodgers are going to be bringing him back, even though he's got the deferred. So he has a deferred contract, but then they're going to sign him for another contract. This dude's going to be getting like two different paychecks.
He gets double deferred, so he'll be getting 2 paychecks twice a year. So anyway, so going I want to go ahead and piggyback off what I was going to say earlier. The A's did sign Luis Severino.
I know.
Who saw that coming? Who saw that happening?
Do you know that's the biggest contract they've signed a free agent in their history? In their history.
I know. This is crazy.
This is the Moneyball A's. I was like, golly, I didn't realize how cheap they were. I'm like, is John Fisher? I think he's doing this just to piss people off. I think he's doing it he's like, you know what? Screw them. Let's just make our biggest contract signing off or contract offer to a free agent for the first time. We've been playing Moneyball this whole time, and I've been telling you, that's all I got. It's what you got to play with, you know? And then they've moved to freaking Sacramento. Now that we're in Sacramento, we can make the money. And now we got a $1.75 billion stadium, Eric. And believe it or not, that stadium looks like it's going to be going through. The paperwork is making its way through the system. And so A's needed an opening day pitcher. A's need an opening day roster. Hey, the Locked On A's guy said the other day, I listened to it. He's saying they're going to win the West in 2025.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe we need to have him on. We need to have him on and see how it's going to work. Now, the A's have made some moves. They do have some young stars. They haven't gotten rid of Brent Rooker. He's still there. They've got some good hitters. They've got some good young talent. They still got Mason. I mean, that dude's an animal, right? I think they're going to be competitive. I really think the Rangers are going to be competitive this year. I think the team that might have the most fall off if they don't do anything this offseason is Seattle. But Seattle's got to do something, dude. Their offense is terrible.
That's actually how I was going to mention earlier. I was like, wait, I was going to say something, but I actually heard it was either John Heyman or Buster Olney or one of them when they were talking about possibly trading for Bohm. They're actually saying that they're having a hard time getting hitters to sign over there because when they go over there, they're all of a sudden they become terrible hitters because that's such a terrible ballpark to hit at. Don't tell that to Alvarez, of course, but but I think that, it's the dimensions are terrible. Like it's not a good atmosphere to go play baseball at. And it just go look at the stats overall. That's why they've struggled so much offensively.
So get this. Here is the 3-team trade rumor. Okay. Cubs would get Garrett Crochet. It's between the Cubs, the Mariners, and the White Sox. This is insane. Okay. The Cubs would get Garrett Crochet. The Mariners would get Nico Horner and a second piece. The White Sox will get Owen Cassie, Cole Young, and a lotto ticket, meaning their top pick. I didn't know you could trade those picks. And then here's another trade that someone came up with the White Sox, the Mariners, and the Phillies. The Phillies receive Garrett Crochet. The Mariners get Alec Boehm. The White Sox get Edward Tate, Justin Crawford, Mick Abel, Ty Pete, and Michael Arroyo. I don't know any of those guys. I guess they're prospects. I mean, these are things that people are talking about. And when we talk about Houston having to get creative, that is actually what you're looking at doing. The problem, though, and what frustrates me, is the Astros don't really have much to trade. Mm-hmm. Jake Myers doesn't have trade value. Chas McCormick doesn't have trade value. Are you going to find someone to take Ryan Presley's contract? I really doubt it. They just don't have anybody to trade. And that's what sucks, because if you had trade pieces, then you wouldn't have to worry about what are we going to do with these free agents, or what are we going to do with signing these guys, extending these guys. So it's definitely going to be interesting. But, man, I just want Juan Soto to get signed so everybody else can move on, because everything is on pause, because all of Boris's clients are the big clients tied up. They're the big clients that are all tied up with. Can you imagine Boris going, hey, boys, I got you, but me and Juan, we're meeting with the teams this weekend? Because here's the thing. They're meeting with the teams. The Red Sox owner, John Henry, has requested an in-person meeting with Juan Soto because he hasn't met him in person. And do you know what Vlad Guerrero Jr. posted on his Instagram? He posted a picture, because he's a free agent in 2026. He posted a picture of him, Rafael Devers, and Juan Soto, all in Red Sox uniforms, and it said the big three, and it was a Dominican Republic thing. Can you imagine if the Red Sox got Vlad Guerrero Jr., had Juan Soto, and Rafael Devers? Good. This will be the Yankees' modern-day curse. It'll be the Juan Soto curse. But I still think the Yankees are going to backdoor everybody. I think the Yankees are going to come in, and you may see Juan Soto sign a $750 million 15-year deal worth $50 million a year. I'm not outside of the realm. I didn't think that would be possible. I think it's possible now.
All right, guys. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. So I know that we've been talking a little bit about the division, but I want to go ahead and move on. I've heard some people talking about the fact that the Phillies may be favorites because Bregman would fit very well in at the ballpark. He's the type of hitter like they already have in Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's agent is Scott Boras. So there could be a lot of connections there, but they already have somebody playing third base over there in Alec Boehm. So I know that if you go ahead and sign Bregman, he would be there a little bit longer than Boehm, but the Phillies are definitely asking for the moon for Boehm. And I think the Cardinals will be doing the same for what's the guy's name? I can't think of the third baseman. The third baseman for the Cardinals.
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, Arenado. So it's just the same thing. It's when you have something, you don't start you start high and then you kind of negotiate. That's the whole theme of today's show. But the reported ask was either, this is not and, this is or. We want Logan Gilbert or George Kirby or George Boehm. Sorry, Alec Boehm. So.
Wow. Well, if the Mariners want to play with the big boys, they got to give up some of their big toys. I mean, those guys, Eric, those pitchers they have are phenomenal. And we know pitching is not their problem. And you know, heck, if Julio Rodriguez had a Juan Soto type of player in the lineup with him, or Pete Alonso, or I don't know if Alec Boehm really scares pitchers, but Julio Rodriguez needs another big bat with him. I think Aaron Judge owes some money to Juan Soto, because I think that's what helped Aaron Judge have his MVP season and hit the home runs he did, because it was him and Soto back to back. That is a crazy lineup. And that's why everybody's like, well, why don't the Astros go sign Juan Soto? I'm like, have you been reading
Alex Bregman? How are they going to get Juan Soto, one of the best players in baseball?
If you can't offer Bregman $200 million, how the heck? No, I'm just saying people are saying. But dude, could you imagine though? Could you imagine Alvarez and Soto in the same lineup? Oh my God. You could go Alvarez, Tucker, Soto.
Don't even give them hopes.
No. I'm just talking, dude.
I know.
I'm not saying we do it. I'm not giving anybody hope. If people hope in this, then they definitely don't know baseball. But there is going to be massive movement. Pete Alonso's waiting. I mean, that dude turned down a 7-year, $158 million extension. So he's going to get paid. The question is Cohen going to beat the Yankees? Or are the Red Sox going to come in and beat both of those teams? Because that fan base in New York, I've seen many friends of mine that are fans. They said, I am leaving the Yankees as a fan if they lose Soto. And I'm like, good God. I'm like, bookmark, I'm going to hold you to it. If we let Alex Bregman walk, they have to sign either Tucker to an extension immediately or Framber Valdez. And then they need to decide if they're going to sign one of them, they need to try to trade the other. To be honest with you, I mean, if you're going to let them walk, but what happens, Eric? So does that signal that they're kind of sailing it in? Does that signal that they're done
with the Astros?
If the Astros let Alex walk, and then they sign, let's say they sign Tucker, which I don't think they would. Let's just say they sign Tucker for the sake of the discussion. Do you go ahead and trade Framber? If you trade Framber and you've also let Alex go, is that kind of signaling that you're kind of you're not in rebuild mode. You can still compete. You'll still have a very good team. But what would that say to the fan base?
No, I think that if you don't sign Alex Bregman and then you trade, let's just say you trade Tucker, then and maybe even you trade them both. I think that's what you and I were talking about before the show. If you trade them both, then that would be a bad look. So I know you're trying to save money. You're trying to save Jim Crane some money, but he's got money to spend. And it's also about trying to keep the draft picks not going over the luxury tax threshold. Christian Walker, if you do sign him, you're going to have to give up a compensation pick. Oh, something I was going to mention earlier. You can trade draft picks, but only the compensation picks. So you can't trade actual picks. But it's like if you get somebody if the Astros sign Christian Walker, then they send the Diamondbacks a draft pick. The Diamondbacks technically could trade that if they want to. I believe that's the rule. That's what it used to be. Or maybe not even those. No, it's it's the, what is it called, where you're trying to get the lower teams to get the higher
floor?
To get up. Huh?
You talking about salary?
There's like they used to do where the Pirates would get extra picks. I forgot what they called those picks.
Compensation picks? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, compensation picks, yeah.
One of the things that we haven't talked about is this discussion, and maybe we need to talk about this over like a whole show, is whether or not there's going to be a salary floor and a salary cap. Because in 2026, if the owners demand a salary cap, the players are going to strike. And if the players strike, it'll be a major black eye for Major League Baseball. They can't afford a strike. They can't afford another work stoppage, especially after 20, especially after the previous one. So it ends December 1st, 2026 is when the next collective bargaining agreement ends. So at that time, if they have not renegotiated the terms.
Hashtag Dodgers.
Yeah.
Hashtag Mets.
That freaking Roki Sissoko, they said he's already picked a team, and everybody's like, and it's rumored that he's picked the Dodgers. And I'm like, well, that's a mystery. And I actually had a friend that made a really good comment. He said, I hope he doesn't just follow the crowd. I hope he makes his own success and becomes his own star. In other words, why would you sign with the Dodgers with Ohtani there and live in his shadow, and Yamamoto and Mookie Betts and now Freddie Freeman? I mean, why would you want to go live in their shadow? I mean, I guess because you want to win.
Look what LeBron James did when he left the Cavaliers to go play with the Heat, and they already had They had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, I believe it was. So
Chris Bosh, NBA legend. Yes, he was the linchpin in the big three, right?
Yeah.
Wow, how do we get into LeBron James talk on the Locked On Astros? That's all Eric, y'all. I'm a big MJ fan myself. But anyways, I digress. So Jim Crane, it's up to you, buddy. Hey, Jim, we want to invite you on the show. You told me a couple years ago you'd come on the show. Never happened. But you told me personally you'd come on. So come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the money and the business. You got it?
Hey, Jim, what's up? I know we're playing golf on Saturday, but
that's Cap.
Before that, can you come on the podcast? Okay, cool.
That's Cap. Yeah, it's Cap. Stop capping. Hey, real quick. I want to recognize Garrett. Garrett hadn't been around for a while, and Garrett showed up tonight. And Garrett said I was gone because he had some cool family stuff. His stepdad actually adopted him, and so he took a different last name. So Garrett, congratulations. You seem like you're pretty happy about that. Thank you, bud, for showing up. And he said Jordan or James. Dude, it's not even a question. It's Jordan. Jordan 24/7. Okay. Don't even get me with that James and Jordan stuff. Because I
think it's LeBron James's kid. I think he's much better than both of them.
LeBron James.
That's
wow. This is Locked On NBA Legends.
All right, guys. That's all we got for the Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back. We may try to do one tomorrow, but guys, thank you for joining us on the Locked On Astros podcast. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and we'll be here wherever Alex Bregman. I guess we can call us as the Alex Bregman turns. We'll be here waiting for the news to break. So we'll see you later, and go Astros.
Let's sign all three of them. Sit them all down at
no
a table.
More organic chemistry. No more organic chemistry.
Hey, yes. So let's sign them all. Sit them at a table.